you ready for me to conduct a comprehensive review of one of your CVs? Well, stick around and let's do it today on this episode of Navigating Academia. What's up, Navigating Academia family? This is Dr. J. Phoenix Singh coming at you to be able to do a comprehensive CV review. Thank you so much to all of you who have taken me up on my offer to be able to review your CVs, redacted CVs, so don't worry, nobody will see your name or your contact details. To be able to not only give you feedback on how you can optimize a CV, but so that other individuals in our Navigating Academia community can watch as I go through literally page by page, step by step, and I show you exactly how to polish up a CV to be able to help you get into graduate school, get a postdoctoral fellowship, get an academic position or an industry position after you get your graduate degree. I know firsthand how hard it is to be able to put together a high quality and winning CV so that you can be successful in whatever endeavor you're using that CV or resume to go after. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is share my screen and we're going to go ahead and walk through one of yours. Now, please do, guys, help me out a ton by liking this video, smashing that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, and in exchange for my time, please support the channel by becoming a patron of ours and supporting us down here at our Patreon. In addition to that, not only are you going to be able to support the channel, but you're going to get a one-on-one shout out from me in a video of your choosing. You're also going to be able to get access to all of our recordings of live streams that we try to do as often as we can for you. You'll get to choose your own live stream topic, and you'll also get discounts off of one-on-one coaching with me. And speaking of that one-on-one coaching, oftentimes I'm not going to have the time to be able to make videos going through CVs one at a time. So if you want me to go through yours and really go deep, please do contact me via my website below, book a session, and let's go one-on-one in terms of academic coaching, and we can make sure that all of your academic application materials are up to snuff. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my computer and let's take a deep dive together. Let's go. So first and foremost, thank you so much to the individual who submitted this CV for all of us to be able to take a look at. It's definitely very generous. I understand that it's very brave to be able to send something in. So let's go ahead and start with the email, and I'll redact the email of the individual who sent this one in. Said, "Hi, Dr. Singh, greetings from China. I'm a big fan of yours. I'm writing to join your free CV and personal statement review series. My CV and personal statement is attached below, so today we'll go through the CV. I've already submitted my applications and received the results from last December to this May, but I only got 2 offers out of 10 applications." First of all, guys, let me just say 20% acceptance rate, it's really good. So huge congratulations to this individual on getting any offers, and no doubt was one of the most difficult application years of recent memory. So back to the letter. "In this case, I'm considering reapplying to my dream school, which is the London School of Economics, and I would like to rewrite my CV and personal statement. I hope to gain some advice from you taking a look at my application better. Your videos have helped me a lot, especially when I was preparing for my graduate school interviews. I really appreciate your professional guidance from the perspective of a professor. If my documents are not chosen for your videos, it's okay because I can also learn from others." Well, definitely thrilled to be able to get this from you, and I'm excited to be able to go through for you. Now, guys, let me give you some initial guidance. When I look at a CV, usually what happens is that I go through it 3 times. So if any of you guys ever book a one-on-one session with me where we kind of do an even deeper dive into your CV specifically, here's what you're going to learn from me. Number one is the first time I go through, I'm just visually taking a look at the CV. That's what I'm looking for more than anything else. It's just how does it look, 10,000 foot view, perceptually speaking, without me looking at any of the content. And so that's number one. The second thing that I do is when I go through, I'm not reading the content, I'm literally looking for overall discrepancies in how things are written or formatted. And then number 3 is I'm actually reading the content. And I'm taking a look for kind of the order in which things are presented and whether or not we can achieve the desired goal. The desired goal in this email was to be able to kind of reapply to London School of Economics, so for the LSE, and it looks like we've got a bachelor's of marketing, so it makes sense that LSE, which is one of the best schools in the world when it comes to these sorts of topics, would be a top choice. That makes sense to me. So let's go ahead. As you can see, my cursor here, I've got this little yellow highlight over it, so we'll go ahead and make the best use of that as we can. You'll see me kind of going up and down on the screen. So let's go ahead and jump in. First thing, 10,000 foot view, right? When I'm taking a look over this, and you'll see me zooming out and zooming back in. This is a very short CV. Usually a CV is several pages long. Now, in some cases, particularly if you're applying for jobs, it will be requested that you kind of narrow everything down to only one page. That sometimes does happen. Recently, I actually had the case for me myself. I was going to be doing a large-scale contract for a private foundation, and sure enough, they requested a one-page CV. So this is not out of the ordinary when it comes to applying for a job, but usually when you're applying, especially to a doctoral program, what you'll end up seeing, or even like an MBA, Master's in Business Administration, what you'll end up seeing is that usually they want to have requirements like that, in which case, if you do have additional content, you may want to put it on there. The other thing that I noticed just kind of from the beginning is that I understand we're trying to fit it onto one page, but the margins are not particularly well done, right? So kind of from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, we're way over standard margins in terms of what we're dealing with. And in terms of the line spacing, I think I see what you were trying to go for here. But the amount of space, this blank space up here relative to the blank space below, doesn't really look that good. It looks like you were trying to shove everything in here. I do understand, I think, what you were trying to do, which is to have the same amount of space down here below the final words and above the line to be able to match here the space that was above profile beneath the line. But just a basic look at it suggests that even those two things aren't equal. There's less space here than there is down here. So that's what I would say. In terms of these lines, I would even say that the lines, when I say they're not necessary, it would just be a lot better to be able to have additional spacing in between each one of these major sections. Would not be a bad decision. Also, in terms of up here, so you had your name. Down here, I'm not 100% sure, but if you did redact information down here, that's actually not a... Oh, it looks like you did redact some stuff. Okay, there's actually something there. You'd want to make sure that you have your details in terms of usually your email address. If you can use an email address that's a .edu email address, not a Gmail or a Hotmail or a Yahoo or whatever it is, that's the best. You also want to make sure that you've got a telephone number with a country code, because it sounds like if you're in China, because your email said greetings from China, and you want to apply to LSE, which is obviously in England, it'll have a different country code. You want to make sure that you make it as easy as possible for people to get in touch with you as you can. And in addition, if you've got an address, you can put that in there as well, like a business contact address, as it were. So that's what I would say up there. So you don't have to worry about that spacing. Still, the amount of blank spacing up here relative to at the bottom, it looks like it's kind of jammed in there. So unless it's absolutely necessary to get it down to one page, increasing the amount of spacing of the thing, getting it onto 2 pages at least, and then increasing the amount of spacing as opposed to these lines, probably not a bad idea. Even if it was something where profile, education, internship experience, projects, and additional skills, even if you just wanted to center all of those, right, and then have an additional space beneath each of them, that probably would not be a bad idea. Now, if you do that, one of the other big issues here is that this is a huge amount of indenting over here on the left-hand side, and that is shoving all of the text so far over to the right-hand side. And so because of that, my recommendation is to be able to, the space between the bullet and the start of the line is fine, but in terms of where the bullets start, it should basically be indented from the side right here, especially if you're going to keep things like profile over here to the left-hand side. My hope is that that would also help. I mean, you'll then have to adjust the amount of blank space over here on the left-hand side. But again, we're just trying to avoid things getting jammed to both sides here. But the other thing is that I do like, in theory, what you've done with regards to trying to justify the text. The unfortunate thing is that, you know, we've got these gigantic spaces here, and here, and here, and here. Now, this could be because you kind of took things out, you redacted things, and it looks like that could be the case. But if it's not, if it's because of justification, just know that, you know, we need to deal with that, right? So in any case, that's what I would say there. Now, a few other things. Let's go ahead. We're just going to zoom in a little bit here. Okay, I'm going to take us back to the top. Guys, there's no need, unless you have a full sentence, to have any punctuation at the end of bullets. It is not necessary to have semicolon. I see this often, right? Semicolon, we don't need it. Period, don't need it. Down here, period, we don't need that. Don't need that. Now, in cases like this, is this 2 sentences? If it is 2 sentences, it is okay to have the period. Okay, this is 1 sentence, we don't need it, right? So on and so forth. I could kind of go all the way through. The one thing that I like is that at least you are very consistent, right? And okay, well, this one has 2 periods, 2 sentences, that's fine. You are very consistent. If I go to everything in these 2 sections here, or these 3 sections, there's always the period. And I like that because if nothing else, you're consistent. Even though I may not agree with it or like it, you're consistent, and I like that. Always keep in mind that anything that is inconsistent is not a good look, right? It really suggests that you didn't pay attention to the tiny details. And always remember that if you can't be trusted with a little, you won't be trusted with a lot. This is why if you watch the channel, you will know that at the end of all of at the end of every paper, there's usually a references section, and I go there first when I'm reading an article, especially for peer review, to be able to make sure that everything is in a standard format, such as APA 7th edition. If it is not, if there are little errors in there, I don't trust the individuals who authored that blinded manuscript to be trusted with doing things in a methodologically rigorous way. Just something that's good to know, okay? So let's keep going here, right? Okay, so let's start up here, profile. Okay, so now we're getting into the weeds. So profile, again, spacing and all. I think those are my overall comments on spacing. Let me just check real quick. Okay, the other thing that I like here is that you did a short hyphen for all of them. Sometimes people have short hyphens and they add it as like a long hyphen, which, you know, not great. Down here, in terms of the colons, just make sure they look like they're bold, but just make sure that they're bold. Anytime you have like a main word that's bolded, you want to have bolding after that as well, okay? Now, anything else in terms of that? So keeping that in mind, right? You may want to bold this, you may want to bold this, you may want to bold this, and this one, and this one, and this one, right? So just something to be able to consider. Or, since these are underneath something that's bolded, you can always italicize, and italicize, and italicize, and so on and so forth, okay? So let's keep going here, and let's start. So that's all the formatting stuff. Let's go ahead and go up here. So a determined, creative, and well-rounded team player. Okay, so I would always recommend using Oxford commas. So I'll only mention it this once, but a comma after creative. Okay, this says it's not parallel structure, right? You're this kind of a team player, and then it's with passion in. No, it's got to be parallel. So passionate about, right? A passionate professional, right? Concerning right? With passion in digital marketing and with a strong academic background. Okay, in consumer behavior and live stream marketing. Okay. Always be careful. Whenever anybody says strong academic marketing, I'm assuming as close to a 4.0 GPA as possible, right? Next one, solid internship experience. That doesn't really mean anything. No need for solid, just internship experience. In social media management, okay, so why are these bolded? When consumer behavior is not bolded and live stream marketing is not bolded. Doesn't make sense to me, right? Internship experience in social media management, growth hack, CRM, marketing and sales. Technically, I'm assuming it should be and marketing and sales, right? With strong performance, right? So with strong performance, is there any way that that is measured? If so, it's kind of down here, right? So I don't think you even need to say that. I mean, if you wanted to, I would keep strong over solid. That's what I would say for that, okay? So now we go down to education, right? So we've got this university. What I would say is that it seems like the reason why this is such a massive space is because we have this over here. And also the other issue is that this is a smaller font than that. I can just tell by looking at it, right? So my recommendation would be, do this right, is to be able to take something like university. Now this will probably mess it up, but let's find out, right? Yeah, it did. Look at that. That's so funny. Okay, so do as I say, not as I do on this one, guys, okay? So whatever the name of the university is, line it up here, right? Now, obviously, right, there's something that's supposed to be here, right, that it seems like is lined up. So if that's the case, what I want you to do is to just go to the end of the word university. Actually, will this let me do that? Hey, it will, right? And then you can always say something like, I'm assuming that you can just say fall 2017 to spring 2021, or you can just literally say 2017 to 2021. Right, and it'll be assumed because it's school years, in which case you do that. It is assumed because of school years, right, that it's those years. Just make sure that the font sizing is the same. This is 10.5. This is 10.5. Okay. Always just be wary about these things, guys. Okay. So, and then what we can do is get rid of this, and then we can do all the modifications to be able to make sure that this space, right, is better used than it's being used right now. Okay, I'm going to take away these lines here for us, okay? There we go. Okay, so Bachelor of Marketing, I believe it's Bachelors of Marketing, not Bachelor of Marketing. GPA, there's too much space after the colon, right? 3.76, comma, top 2% of students, okay? Core modules, let's see. You can probably capitalize modules just because of being consistent with all the capitalization of secondary words. Okay, core modules, Again, I recommend putting and before the final thing for all of these. Awards, didn't we have awards down here? Maybe not? National Scholarship, Student Leadership Scholarship, okay. And congratulations, by the way, on these awards, and well done in terms of keeping them date conscious, right? Between this one and this one, whatever's more important, put it first because they're the same date, okay? And I'm assuming there's a word there. Okay, and no period at the end. Okay, internship experience. So we've got consulting, marketing intern. Company. Okay, so I'm assuming that these are names of a company or something, right? You wouldn't just want to say that you were working in consulting, working in a media group, working in I'm assuming it wasn't called Information Technology Co. and so forth, right? But you'd want to make sure regardless that you kind of line all that up with the same place that Bachelor would have lined up in something like this, first of all. And again, in terms of the dates, just like with this here, you could put that after marketing intern, okay? That would be my recommendation on there. Okay, let's see. So social media management, managed and operated Blank Consulting's WeChat official platform and mini program, collected and analyzed data to understand user behavior and gain 1,500 new users. Okay, this is too long of a sentence, right? It's and this, and gained, and in addition. It's also not necessary to say and in addition. That doesn't make sense. Promoted 10 plus market research reports. How can you market a research report? Or how can you promote a market research report? Using what? The sales converted from this marketing content generated 760,000. Okay, RMB, cool. Now, obviously, if we're applying to LSE, we'd want to convert RMB into GBP, right? So change that. Obviously, if you do what I recommended, putting it on several pages, you can have like an extra space in between each of these pieces here, okay? Creative content planning, increase brand awareness, urban culture IP. by producing articles which were read over 1,300 times, and okay, you can take away the comma here, and which received this many reposts. Okay, no need for this comma here either. And 350 plus comments. All right. Marketing campaigns. Independently planned and launched a marketing project for a national furniture brand, blank, which, if this is the name of the company, add a comma after as well. I'm not sure what this redacted piece is. Which reached over 80,000 page views and strengthened the brand strategy of operating in the environmental protection space. Okay. Now, because we've got that financial piece here, just throw it out there. If there's any other financial stuff that can be placed in these sorts of things because we're looking at a school like LSE, not a bad idea, especially because you're into marketing. I think I missed this one. Let's go back here, okay? Customer relationship management. Assistant marketing managers not to build, in building relationships and networks. I mean, relationships and networks are kind of the same thing, right? In building relationships and networking with clients, e.g., blah, 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 and was responsible for, technically we don't need a comma, and was responsible for choosing appropriate client gifts. Don't say client gifts. Why? Because you just said with clients and then client again, right? Appropriate gifts and other, just say was responsible for public relations work, comma, including the selection of appropriate gifts for clients. You can say that. Okay, down here, we've got this here. Just a marketing intern. Growth hack, operate then a official WeChat account. Formulate social media strategies, comma, and independently drive 20 plus promotional articles. Okay, did that as a result? Oh, as a result, I love it. As a result, the number of user accounts increased by 35% in 3 months. Right, now this sounds great. Is there any like N? Is there any number? So for example, if you had like 10 people, you know, an increase by 35% would be adding 4 people, eh? So that would be the question. And next one, campus partner, capitalize the P in partner here, okay? Market expansion, expanded the target market and then by designing and organizing both online and offline marketing campaigns. Team gained 120,000 RMB in revenue and achieved, delete the comma, and achieved the top 20% of sales team performance across China. Okay, this is not written correctly, right? Okay, next, projects. Okay, so now we've got this stuff. Again, shift everything over. It looks really weird, this starting where the bullet starts. This should start further over this way, right? And again, you can put the date over here to the side, right? And also, at least in Britain, this is not the style to give the year and then the month, right? So you can just say, 7/2020 or something like this, or July 2020 would be fine. Okay, good job with the dates in terms of reverse order. So, competition achievement. Let's see, you can remove the top 8 what? And you shouldn't call this, these aren't really projects. These are kind of like awards or achievements. And the issue, like Academy Award of Advertising, right? But is that up here? So you understand why I'm confused, right? Because this is awards here, and then these are also awards, but they're called projects, but they're not really projects, so consider that. Here, gained more than 1.5 million followers. Doesn't make sense after a semicolon to have a capital letter, so change that. You can just say semicolon, lowercase r, runner-up at China University official WeChat, top 100 annual rankings in 2009. Okay, capitalize T, capitalize A, capitalize R. Additional skills. It's not really additional skills. This is kind of the first time you've mentioned skills. As a heads up, guys, I never recommend having something like this at the top where it's like profile, where you're kind of describing yourself, especially if you got a personal statement. The personal statement's going to do that for you, right? Everything that's in here is already either in a personal statement, a letter of recommendation, or it can be gleaned from reading the remainder of the CV. It's not necessary. I'd rather have the spacing, okay? Down here, languages, capitalize N in native, capitalize P in proficient. Mandarin, native Mandarin, just say Mandarin and then parentheses native, comma, English, parentheses fluent, comma, Cantonese, parentheses, fluent. Right, I'm assuming that's both fluent in terms of speaking as well as in reading. IT skills, proficient MS Office and WeChat editing software, knowledge of SPSS and eViews for statistical computing and data analysis, basic knowledge of SQL statements and Access. Okay. Since you already have MS Office, I'm assuming that this is Microsoft Access, in which case we can say MS Access. Last one, interest Chinese click. Nope, take it out. Take it out. It is unnecessary to be able to say, please. So delete that. And that's my recommendation. Usually, guys, I do not recommend things like additional skills, only if it's not mentioned anywhere else. So for example, like SPSS, just to throw it out there, was never mentioned anywhere else, right? And so that's okay, right? But if it's something that's been mentioned above, like ad nauseum, there's no need to be able to put into additional skills, okay? So thank you so much for sending me this CV. I appreciate it very much. I hope that everybody learned some tips and tricks today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Please do support us on Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/navigatingacademia to be able to help me spend my time making more videos like this for you. Peace. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here as always. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more in this series on navigating academia, please click on one of these links over here to be able to view more original content. I hope to see you there.